Welcome back to my favorite tropes on SpeterTV. If I sound sick, it's because I'm sick. And if I give out while I'm doing this, someone will have to succeed me and keep the work going. What is a spiritual successor? Well, as always, go into tvtropes.org for an answer. And there we see that a spiritual successor is a type of sequel that's, well, not really a sequel, but a sequel in spirit. It's a different story in a different world, but elements, themes, and even creators may be shared. It may be the same creator wanting to do a similar thing in a new way. It can be a creator shouting out another person's work. It can be a professional fanfic even. It can be an accident altogether. Essentially, it's an XP but as a series. So for some examples, My Hero Academia is considered a spiritual successor to Naruto. The Batman 89 comic, which is a continuation of the Tim Burton movies, is not one to the Tim Burton movies, but rather one to the Batman 66 comics, which is a continuation of the Adam West series. Frozen is really a spiritual successor to Tangled, which may have felt a little more palpable back when it was coming out, and they seem so much more similar. How to Train Your Dragon is a spiritual successor to Lilo and Stitch, down to the same writer-directors and the fact that Toothless was partially based on Stitch. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is arguably a spiritual successor to Spider-Man the New Animated Series, partially because of just how different the art style is. Also arguably one to the Lego Batman movie, being a tongue-in-cheek love letter to the superhero it's about. And less arguably to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, since it has direct parallels. Zootopia is one to Robin Hood. The director Byron Howard just straight up wanted to do a movie similar to Robin Hood. Jimmy Neutron can be considered a spiritual successor to Dexter's Lab, featuring boy geniuses in a 50s-ish world. Animaniacs is pretty definitely one to Tiny Toon Adventures. Camp Lazlo, Phineas and Ferb, and SpongeBob SquarePants all share their roots in Rocko's Modern Life, definitely being successors to that show. And Adventure Time and Regular Show can be considered spiritual successors to those shows. The Jetsons is a spiritual successor to the Flintstones. My Life as a Teenage Robot is one to Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, with each respective show's creators having worked on the other show. Man of Steel can be considered a spiritual successor to Watchmen, of course both by Zack Snyder. Mean Girls is a lighter and softer successor to Heathers. Pitch Perfect to Bring It On. Drake and Josh is a spiritual successor to Kenan and Kel and The Amanda Show. How I Met Your Mother can be thought of as a spiritual successor to Friends, which can be considered a spiritual successor to Cheers. Jessie is definitely one to The Nanny, with Pamela Eels O'Connell having worked on both shows. And also one to The Sweet Life on Deck, with especially early on Jessie just kind of feeling like Bailey. Backstory and all. Liv and Maddie is a spiritual successor to Sister Sister. The Middle is obviously one to Malcolm in the Middle, and then Stuck in the Middle can also be one to Malcolm in the Middle. That 70s Show was a 90s show looking back 20 years to the 70s, much like Happy Days was a 70s show looking back 20 years to the 50s. Victorious can be thought of as a spiritual successor to Zoe 101, Taina, and iCarly. Cartoon Network Studios and Frederator Studios are both spiritual successors to Hanna-Barbera, both having their roots there too. And if I played more video games, I'd mention some, because the roots may have started there with the term. So let me know, what video games should I have mentioned? And what other examples do you like? Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell to let your speeder sense tingle when I upload. And I'll try to see you next week, I guess. I don't know. Just please, just wash your hands.